Just want to tell you that there is a movie going back 60 plus years at the old school playing on the video up front. You can view it as you socialize. Thank you. Back to the music. Elvin.
anyway, somebody says, she's here. I consider red.
I don't see it.
No. Remember your younger days?
Remember when? I didn't realize Jamie was in the same
We have a 3.5 hour program planned for you, so we want to keep this thing moving along pretty good. After we get started, if any of you have to go to the bathroom, just raise your hand and we'll hold up so you don't miss anything important. They told me that being a master of ceremonies here was going to be a tough job, but I find out that the alumni committee we have takes care of just about everything. All you do is they tell you and relax and everything falls in place. That remains to be seen. I think the first thing we ought to do is recognize this alumni committee. They do a hell of a job. It's a job that isn't hard to come by. If you want to volunteer, they'll take your help. I think we ought to recognize the group. I hope they're all here tonight. Imagine they are. The first one is Jane Clarmy, the Executive Director. Hey, Jim. Donald Bucket Trombley, the President. He's here. Stephanie Yankee, Vice President. Kathy Devens, Secretary. Shirley Ducharme, Treasurer. Now, as usual, the people behind the scene don't get credit for what the hell goes on. And, of course, everybody knows Dick West. He graduated here 40 years ago. That would make it 54. But Nala didn't graduate from here, and she runs the show. She takes care of all the details that Dick leaves behind. I got a call from her this morning at 7:30, wanting to know if this had been taken care of and that had been taken care of. And Nala sits behind the scenes and takes care of the loose ends. They're the guys that make this party possible, and I think they've done one heck of a job. We ought to give them a standing vote of thanks. It's a pleasure for the class of 1944 to be the host for this party. All of you received a newsletter with a picture of what we looked like 50 years ago. There's been a few changes. Marie Gannett is going to introduce them all and tell you where they fit in the picture. Being up here first, I'll tell you, I'm Ed Dragoon. I was a skinny guy on the end with a lot of hair and all of that stuff. Had I known they were going to use that picture, I'd have started dieting about 2 months ago. I would get contact lenses, and I'd have followed Dick West's role. I would have started growing hair about 2 years ago. He's working towards his 50th, and I'm sure the little Grecian 5 and a lot of effort, Dick will be ready for it. We're all probably 50 pounds overweight. That's not counting the hair we lost. Other than that, we're in pretty good shape. We've lost one class member. Unfortunately, there's 2 others that could not be here tonight. I wish they could have to make it complete, but I think we're lucky to have the representation we had. I think now we should have Mel come up and lead us in the invitation. Mel?
us pray. We thank you for this opportunity to gather together, renew old acquaintances, make new ones. We ask that you look down on us with favor. Be with the 1994 graduating class. Keep them in your grace. Guide them as they start a new chapter in their lives. The world is a troubled place, and they, as well as all of us, need your strength. Let them go through their life with joy, see the fulfillment of their dreams. Look down on the alumnus of this great school. We with them and continue to help us all grow closer to thee through this fellowship and bond we have between us. You have blessed us all here with a sense of oneness. Chazy Central Rural School has in the past and continues to this day to provide all of us with yearning and passion for knowledge. All of us thank you for your grace and know that we are truly blessed. May you bless this food to our use and us to your service. In Jesus' name, amen.
I'm sorry to inform you that that invocation was illegal according to today's standards, and I hope Sheriff Trombley does not do something about it. We all know that these invocations now are very closely controlled, and we can't do those things. Never let a snack, I think, is good. Okay, I guess the food is ready. This doesn't count in part of that 3.5 hours, but I'll be picking it up. And remember, if you got to go, do it during the intermission so we don't have to hold things up.
We should recognize the Chazy graduates prior to 1940.
Can't hear you. It's not working.
One, two.
No, this is this one. That's this one here. This is. There you go. Okay.
Don't break it again.
Now we're back to business. We're ready to eat, but it's only going to take a second. I'd like to acknowledge the graduates prior to 1940. Would you please stand up, give us your name, and the year you graduated. There's one of them that I want to reserve for my own, and that's Frances St. Maxim, the Queen of the Ball, 1921. She's making plans already for the 75th anniversary. Is she here tonight? She's supposed to be. '26. 1930. 1931. 1932. 1933.
You missed 29.
All right, 29. You're thinking your reservation's too late. 1934. Did I miss anybody else?
I want to say that I taught Mac McQuinney how to pray so wonderfully.
The treasurer of this outfit, 1935. Next guy doesn't need an introduction. Dr. George Clark. Give him a hand. Oh yes, I'm sorry, all the 38. Give us your name, please.
Hey, Mark. Cornell. Jean Gene Simons. Bartlow.
Thank you. 1939. 39. Well, you got all the important people now we can eat.
Yes.
Sorry about that. 40, I said. 40.
My wife is older, I wanted to tell you that.
I've been told that the class of 44 gets first choice of the food up here. And then I guess, according to the Reverend Dick, that we're going to go down this side and the other side. Is that it, Dick? He's shaking his head. He doesn't want to say yes.
Amen, brother.
Let's eat.
I like them.
We might as well start on the
I didn't clean up my plate.
rest of that 3.5 hours.
Clean up your plate, you don't take that. Okay, we'll let you have a
I imagine the intervention, everybody did what they had to do. Got dessert coming. Dessert is coming, and we'll just kind of work on that. We're going to have a little quiz on that movie that was up here. Did anybody recognize that girl, the second girl that dove in the pool and made the big splash?
Yep, Queenie Gregor.
That was Queenie?
That was Queenie.
Somebody said it was Anna, but I didn't. And then there was another debate on the fellow that was judging the cows there. At our table, they thought it was Charlie Ashley, but I thought he was a lot older than Charlie. And of course, the guy looking at the horses was Gerald Legs. He hasn't got out of that business yet. Next part of our program is we have one of the Chazy. We're supposed to recognize some of the classes that are here tonight. The classes of like my program over on the table. The 5-year classes, that would be 49. Class of 49, 45 years. Just one.
Can you still stand up?
How strongly represented class of 49. The class of 54. Well, mark it in your books because 10 years from now they're going to be a hell of a party here. 59. 64. No 64s. 30 years. 69. 25 years. 74. 79. There's one. 84. 89. And 94, they're still partying from last night. Well, we have a special treat tonight. We have Angie Bouchard, who is going to be a senior next year. She's the next Chazy Barbara Streisand. I don't remember when she was in Annie, but they tell me she's changed an awful lot. That was 6 years ago. 5 to 6. And she's going to do a little number for us here tonight. I'm sure you'll all enjoy it.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mrs. Green for asking me to sing tonight. It's my pleasure to sing at the Alumni Banquet, seeing as how I'm going to be alumni next year. My first number is called So in Love, and it's from the musical Kiss Me Kate. Strange, dear, but true, dear, when I'm close to you, dear, the stars fill the sky, so in love with you am I, even without you, my arms fold about you. Taunt me and hurt me, deceive me, desert me, I must My next number is called My Funny Valentine, and it's from the musical Babes in Arms, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite book of all. My next number is called Johnny One Note, and this year we did Babes in Arms, and this is one of the songs that I had to sing as the character of Bunny. So if you attended the musical, then you probably have heard this before. Oh, Johnny One Note sang out with gusto and just overloaded the place. Oh, Johnny One Note yelled willy-nilly until he was blue in the face. Oh, only one note was his ace. Could hear the brass, could hear the drum. He was in a class, hands up like gum. But Johnny One Note got an Aida, indeed a great chance to be brave. He took his one note out like the north wind, brought Brooklyn that made critics rave. While Birdie turned round in his grave, couldn't hear the flute or the big trombone. Everyone was mute, John stood alone. Cats and dogs stopped yapping, lions in the zoo all were jealous at Johnny's big trill. Thunderclaps stopped clapping, traffic ceased its roar, and they tell us Niagara stood still. He stopped the train whistles, boat whistles, steam whistles, cloud whistles, all whistles fell to his scale. Sing Johnny One Note, sing out with gusto, and just overwhelm all the crowd. So sing Johnny One Note out loud. Sing Johnny One Note. Sing Johnny One Note out loud. My last two numbers are from The Sound of Music, and this one coming out is called The Sound of Music, and my last one is called Climb Every Mountain. Before I do my last song, I'd just like to thank Mrs. Green again, and thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.
To make in case all of you have dessert. Marie Eagle Army has the backs of her egg-like brownies in the kitchen. If you need, if you like any of them, you can get them out there. Or if you'll give her a self-addressed envelope, she'll send you the recipe. Now that's kind of an in-joke, but I think you can fill in the pieces. I guess it's time to tell you a little bit about the class of 1944. We were the 26th class to graduate Chazy. Now we're up to 76, so that tells you just about how old we are. There's been a lot of changes when we came along, and there's been a lot more since we left. Our class has been pretty fortunate. As I told you earlier, we lost only one member. When we graduated, World War II was going pretty hot and heavy. Early in the month of June, we landed in Europe. Over in the Pacific, things were really moving along pretty good. We all knew what gas rationing was, sugar and meat stamps were. Tires were, if we went out on a date and we didn't change 3-4 tires, we'd had a good night. Gas stamps, we all found out early in life that the old 39 40 Fords would run on kerosene. The only thing you had to be careful was not to stall them out because they didn't start good on kerosene. A lot of us spent a lot of nights reporting airplanes. We had several spots around. We had one next to me down there at Dolph Percy's place. Of course, about 3 o'clock in the morning when things got dull, we'd call up and ask different farmers whether they had their cows out to pasture yet or whether they had water in their cellar. A lot of them didn't take to the joke at 2 o'clock in the morning, but we thought it was fun. If the kids did it nowadays, we'd be all over their case. During that year, the movie of the year was Going My Way. Most of you haven't heard of it. Best actor was Barry Fitzgerald. The best actress was Tallulah Bankhead. The box office draws were Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Gary Cooper. All foreign names to many of you. Big bands were the thing then. We listened to Glenn Miller, Harry James, the Dorseys, all of those fellows. They've all come to pass. I still think they made pretty good music, and it's nice to have these guys playing those tunes tonight. We all went to the graduation last night, and it was a pleasure to see that many of the old traditions that we had are still being carried on. We brought back a lot of memories. Some of them I'm not going to tell you about. Ree and I went over the list of the old time things, and we tried to find something that would be of interest to all of you. And there was so many things that it's hard to pick any one thing that's really a highlight at that time. One of the things that caught my eye is oh man, I thought I lost it. We have a report card for one of our class members for the year 1943-1944. And this is a report card for the full year. As you can see, I think there was 20 subjects we had for choice in high school. There were 23 items on the report card. The top one was days absent, times tardy, conduct, and then we went through the English, French, Latin, algebra, social studies, hygiene, etc. The parents, you had to take it home every quarter and have it signed, and we got real numbers. We didn't get this A plus or A minus or satisfactory or D or D minus. We got real numbers. And while Maria and I were talking about this, I became very interested in conduct. The report card I have here has conduct for the first quarter is 89, the second quarter 92, third quarter 93, and the fourth quarter 94. Now, my question to Marie was, how in the hell did they mark you on conduct? How did they grade it? So Ms. Marie said, well, just give me a few minutes or a few days and I'll look into it and see if I can come up with it. Well, didn't take Marie very long before she was back with the solution to my question. Apparently back then, everybody started out with 100. And they had a whole list, all the teachers did, of possible infractions. Now, Evelyn Brothers, you probably would have been a good one to check with. You probably knew of these rules, and you probably enforced them. So I don't know where Marie got this information, but I've got a list of about 10 things that are on it, and I'll just run through the point systems and what went on. If you were late, they deducted 1 point from your starting score of 100. Absent, you got 2. Chewing gum, 1. Passing notes, 2. Having a slam book, 4. Smelling barn, 1. They changed this because there were too many people failing. Letting erasers go down the vacuum system. Most of you didn't know about it, but we had a central vac system, and the teachers used to ask us to clean erasers. The favorite sport was to say, whoops, and there went another eraser. The next one, I don't know, under today's standards, it probably wouldn't ever pass. It was snapping girls' bras from the rear. That was a 3-pointer. Now there was another one, a little harsher. It was snapping girls' bras from the front. That was 5 points. Now, breaking wind with discretion, except in gym, was 3 points. Flauntingly breaking wind with disrespect to others was 5 points. I think back at that one, I don't think that was a good rule because it made sneaks out of guys like Richard. I've never had a chance to go over this point system with Dennis, but he rang the bell. As you said in the newsletter, Mrs. Inglis asked him to graduate from Rouse's Point. I've never asked him what happened, but if you look at these points and he had to go below 75, he must have done something real bad. Well, that's about all I can tell you about the class of 44. We're happy to be here tonight. I'm sure there's a lot of tales that came up in our discussions with the group earlier. And if I hadn't promised to keep the meeting short, I'd go on. But if we want to stay in our 3.5-hour limit, I guess we got to move on. I have a whole list of other things that happened here, who they happened to, and if you want to hear about it, I'll let you know. Marie Gannett has done most of the work for our class, and she is going to introduce the various class members and give you a little resume of what they've done since back in 1944. Marie?
I'm sure some of you remember the keys.
Gotta get to the mic, Marie. Use the mic.
Thank you. May she rest in peace. My sister Bertha did this a few years ago, and they think I'm as good as she did it. I thought they'd try another large, but anyway. Last week, Father Gardner came down and he said, Marie, you know, you got to start thinking about the hereafter. I said, Father, I do. I go to the kitchen, I go to the bedroom, and I say, what am I hereafter? What am I hereafter tonight? I'm here to introduce the class of 44. Would they please join me up here? All the class of 44. If I'm up here, you're up here. Just come right along here. The first one I would introduce is Rita LaPointe LaForest. She was president of our sophomore class in Proctor, and Rita is a great math reader. She decided to take her husband, pickup truck, and 27-foot trailer over Smuggler's Notch. If you know the road, you know there's a boulder in the middle. You did a lot of sessions. She made it. The next one is Helen K. Hulse. Helen was valedictorian of our class, vice president of the senior class. She's a rural traveler. She met her husband, was married in Japan. She also learned how to drive in her father's car when he wasn't home. She took it around the block and ran over a boulder. It cost her a whole month's salary. $15. Dennis Bayshore, treasurer of our class, had early training mowing the lawn with Mrs. Harvey's mower. Used to jump out the window and do that. Catherine DeSalle Peets, secretary and proctor of our senior class. She loved long bike rides. She was the first marathon bike rider, especially the day the German Shepherd took after us. We made all kinds of records. Anna Chisholm McCrae, salutatorian of our class, and she's traveled the furthest to come. She came from Baltimore, Maryland, to the reunion, and she really didn't want to learn how to drive very well. She was pretty busy down there in Baltimore, but she wanted to come to a family reunion. Gets to learn to drive in 2 weeks. We got her. Ben Sanger, president of our junior class, the maple sugar king of Clinton County. You know, Ben and a couple others went and got trees for all of the classes one year. Guess where they got them? Mine Foundation. Richard Chomley, the law among us. But I wonder, back at school, I can remember him stepping on Miss Struvel's white shoes. Was that on purpose, Richie? Charles Ashley, president of our senior class, he borrowed his father's new car. They took the guys for a ride. And he also told Mrs. Nichols he wasn't going to throw away his gun. He bought it. But he also went and got those trees. And Ed Dragone, president of our freshman class, came to us in the 7th grade. He also went and got those Christmas trees, by the way. He was a very good student. He decided one time he thought that he would like to clean concert organs. So he decided, throw a pail of water on them. That's a good way to clean them. So he decided that wasn't working very well, so he decided to be a good student, and he excelled in physics. Absent tonight is Stella Hebert, who lives in Oregon. Stella Hebert Malone, and Wayne Parrott, who lives in Ross's Point. We lost one classmate, Pat Blair Mackey. And I'm the one that made the fudge.
You didn't tell about yourself?
I did. I'm the one that made the cookie.
Oh.
Thank you.
According to the directions I received from the Alumni Committee, the next order of business is the Alumni Service Award. And this year it goes to Marie Gannett for all the work that she did in getting our class together and making the ribbons, making the little booklets. Until you've done this, you don't realize how much is involved. And Marie has had a lot of phone calls, a lot of running around. And if the party's a success tonight, we have to thank Marie. Without a spark plug, these things don't run. The next part of the program, I turn the meeting over to Ben Stanger for Alumnus of the Year. Ben?
Well, I'm presenting the Certificate for Distinguished Achievement Award tonight. In fact, there are two. When this member graduated from high school, he started on a career of agriculture with a 20-cow dairy farm. During the last 50 years, his farm has grown and now has several hundred registered Holsteins. He also has been active in the community. He's a member of the Minor Institute Board of Trustees. He's the past president of the Clinton County Farm Bureau. I present Charles Ashley. The second Certificate of Distinguished Achievement Award. This member of our class went to graduate from Clarkston University with a degree in engineering. He spent many years working at Ayers Laboratories in Ross's Point and around the world. He is now retired and enjoys golfing, playing bridge, and traveling, and whatever. It gives me great pleasure to present this award to my classmate and friend, Ed Dragoon.
I'll have you know that was a long speech that Charlie made.
Man, a few words. You're up.
The next item of business is the Alumnus of the Year Award, and this year the committee has decided to name two gentlemen. The first one is Dale Jeanette, class of 75. Most of us remember Dale. You know, the little guy on the basketball team. During his tenure in 74 and 75, the basketball team was undefeated and won the sectional championship. After graduating, he stayed in sports, playing on local basketball and softball teams. I understand that age is creeping up on him, and now he's sticking to cycling. After graduation, Dale worked for Bayview Dairy for a year, and then he went with the prison system. In 1979, he joined the Chazy Fire Department. In 1983, he moved and transferred to West Chazy. While in the department, he has completed at least 10 or more medical courses. On the summary that they gave me to read here tonight, we'd be here another hour and a half if I read all the courses he's taken, but there's over 10 with a description of them. I now understand that he's a qualified instructor for EMT at Clinton Community College. There's probably some in this audience that can thank Dale Jeanette if they're here tonight to enjoy these festivities. Dale Jeanette. Seems though he looked bigger than that when he was in high school with all those little kids around him. Incidentally, Dale married another CCRS graduate, Karen Kelly. She graduated in 1975. Is she here tonight, Karen? You must have had a lot of nights home alone. The other award goes to Jim Kelly. Jim graduated from Chazy in 1977. Jim has worked for Georgia Pacific since 1978. For 14 years he worked in production. Then he was made Safety and Emergency Response Coordinator. He was responsible for fire and job security and plant security. He's married and lives in West Chazy. He joined the West Chazy Fire Department in 1985. Since then, he has taken many fire department courses. He has completed and passed the 3 levels of emergency medical technician, the highest level in Clinton County, incidentally. He has been an instructor for American Heart Association, Red Cross, and a certified lab instructor for all levels of EMTs at the Clinton Community College. In 1992, Jim was awarded the honor of Fireman of the Year in West Chazy. He was also recognized as the first ever Emergency Medical Service Award by Clinton County legislatures and Governor Cuomo. In case you think that Jim has done just about everything, his next goal is to be certified in the American Society of Safety Engineers. I think that Jim will probably make it too. He says it's his brother-in-law that's responsible for getting him into this. Is that true, Jim? 100%. Come on up, Jim, please. All on Dale. All Dale's fault. If marriage goes on the rock, Dale's fault. I hope the alumni committee will excuse me, but Marie and I felt that there was something missing in these ceremonies tonight. You all know that the class of 1945 is pretty well, there's not much of it. You know, there's Leo Cody and 4 other girls, 5 girls, 4 girls. And Leo has carried on in quite a tradition for all these years. He doesn't know what's going to happen next year. So we felt it was our responsibility to take Leo under our wing. So we have this little acknowledgement of what Leo's gone through. Hear ye, let it be known to all here present that we, the graduating class of 1944 Chazy Central Rural School, hereby grants to one Leo Cody all rights and privileges due the class of 1944. This honor is made in recognition of his dedication in the performance of duties that he has steadfastly carried out as the only living virile man to graduate from CCRS in 1945. Now we know why he was such a happy, skinny kid in high school. Leo, are you here or will you come up? I'm not going to ask Leo if he wants to say a few words because that goes without saying. Tell us what you're going to do next year.
I'm going to think about it.
Oh, Leo, with that goes an invitation to a picnic we have tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, where?
At Dennis's. 2 o'clock.
I took health and hygiene with you guys, so I know a little much.
Girls locker room.
They tell me that
Girls locker room.
they tell me that we have a real old friend in town, and that a lot of people feel he should be recognized. And to do that, I'm going to ask Mac McQuinney if he'll come up here and say a few words.
No prayers. I was told, don't pray. I'll be with you in a minute. I have the honor of presenting this next award. This alumni has been away from Chazy for many years. Many of us have known him and have always had a great respect and admiration for him and his wife. They were both very active in the community and different activities. They were great church workers. He was also a faithful choir member. He belonged to the Chazy Volunteer Fire Department, and he was chief for 11 years, from 1943 to 1954. During those 11 years, he tried his best to make a fireman out of me. Didn't work. Was a challenge. This man has organized the first mutual aid system in the county. Now, I don't know. I've been telling stories for quite a number of years that he's the first mutual aid system in the state, but I don't know if that's true or not. But a little lie now and then doesn't hurt. And he was a coordinator for many years. In 1984, the Volunteer Fire Department dedicated their meeting room to this man and Marcel Carpenter. Esther and I have never forgotten what he had done for us. He insisted that we use his car for our wedding trip. And you don't find everybody else who do a thing like that. A young driver got into Boston, and he had a sign on the bottom of the license plate, Chief of Chazy Fire Department. So the doorman come out and he said, "You don't mean to say you're from Chazy, do you?" And I said, "Why, do you know Chazy? I was going through there one time hitchhiking, and I stayed there. Worst night he ever had." And now, those of you of the older generation must know who I'm talking about. It's Levi Toddler, an alumni from Florida whom we're very proud of. Lee, would you come forward, please? Chazy Central Rural School Alumni Distinguished Achievement Award, presented to Levi Todrup, class of 1929, by the Chazy Central Rural School Alumni Board of Directors, in recognition of personal and professional achievements and for the contributing time, talents, and energies to the Chazy community while a resident here, and a special recognition for initiating the move of the mutual aid among the volunteer fire departments of the Clinton County. Number one daughter. My biggest fan.
Thank you, Meg. I just looked at my watch and we got 28 minutes and all we got is Bucket Trombley, so if he keeps it down if he keeps his closing remarks down to less than 28 minutes, we're going to make it. Bucket?
First, I would like to thank everyone for coming. Sort of a small group of people have gotten us together here tonight. But it wouldn't be a success without your participation by being here. But earlier in the evening, Ed had introduced the officers, and your executive director wasn't here. Jim Army, did you tell him why you weren't here? This is your executive director.
We christened the first Army in 5 generations tonight. That's why I wasn't here.
And as Ed also said earlier, there's always some people behind the scenes, other than the officers. Some of those people, Ed had already mentioned, Dick and Nyla West, and Jill Beeman. Betty Green. She took care of the decorations and the fringe things that we have around here tonight, and candles and stuff. And we got to give a special thank you to Marie Gannett for her work that she contributed, making our job easier. Stephanie Akey took care of the tea at Alice T. Minor Museum, which were, how many attended that, Steph?
41.
It was 41, which is very good job. I'm sure I'm going to miss some here, but there's one person that, without her help, believe me, we'd be in a lot of trouble. From spelling to putting things where they're supposed to be and everything. I would like to, where's Ann Carpenter? Ann is so efficient that she's already working on next year. And Leo, I assure you, there will be an alumni banquet next year, even if it's just you. Looking around the room here, I sort of looking at the class colors of the 50-year class, and I noticed that my graduating colors, and we also share the same banner as a 50-year class. I graduated in 56. And although I'm a little bit younger, for a couple of years I worked with Charlie Ashley as an assessor. And I found that Charlie can have quite a sense of humor. The three assessors then were myself, Charlie, and Albert Larmy. In the particular area we were in, they knew a little better than I did. So they sat in the car and Albert said, "Bucket," he says, "you get out and measure. And Charlie and I'll stay in the car and do the paperwork." Well, being young as I was eager to get out there and do my measuring. But I was wise enough to leave the back door of the car open a little bit. And as I say, they knew the particular piece of property we're at. I got out of the car, I got up to the building and started to make my first measurement. And it seems as though there was a German Shepherd there that had other ideas. And believe me, you talk about German Shepherds chasing you. I know what you're talking about. I made it to the car. It's a good thing I left the door open. And Charlie, I'll never forget that. And I'm sure you won't. And also in a 50-year class, when Betty and I got married, funds were kind of tight. We had a very small wedding, but we did have music. And our music was Marie and Liam Cadet. And there's some other ties here with the 50-year class. We used to go to Virginia Beach at Easter time. And I never played golf too much. Jim Larmy's been after me to play golf. He's offered to teach me. But unknown to him...
Bucket.
Yes.
I tried to teach Ed for a year.
He still doesn't know.
You got the lesson the other night.
But anyway, while we're down in Virginia Beach, it was either go play golf with the boys or go down to the beach with the girls. And no, I brought my metal detector. I used to go to the beach. But anyway, they finally got me on the golf course. And I learned to play golf. And there's an easy way to do it. What you do is you drive a golf cart and take care of the beverages. And I've been doing that ever since. I don't have the frustrations that you guys have, chasing that wife. And I still enjoy doing that today for my son and other people. And looking around here, I can, Dick Trombley. Well, Dick's, these guys are older than I am, but we live close by. And back in our school years, the pools were all closed. We never got to go in the pool. They were dry. We could went in them, but there was no water. But we did learn how to swim. And you wonder how we learned how to swim. The Trombley boys, referring to Russell and Richard and Maynard and Harold and Clarence and Arnold, and how many boys are 9, Clevis? But anyway, every year they used to build this diving platform down in Monty's Bay. I don't know exactly how deep the water was, but they used to get me out there with my 2 brothers, and we'd climb up there, and one of the boys would grab us by the collar and the seat of the pants, and they'd throw us out in the water, and down in the water was Pete Trombley and Harold Trombley to pick us up on the 3rd time down. They dragged us in the boat. But we did learn how to swim, believe me. And it didn't take too long. Kind of risky, but it worked. But anyway, thanks to them, I can swim today. And there's some other story there. Where's Andy Webb? Andy was one Halloween. I don't know what happened. Somebody made a mess of the school pond out in front, and the school was very upset about it. They never did find who did it, but Andy and I were one of the first ones to volunteer to go out and clean that pond up. So we spent a day, I think, or a day and a half in the boat cleaning that pond up. Of course, we got out of class. But anyway, I don't want to drag this out. We are a small group. We're always looking for help. We've never turned anybody down, and we would appreciate it. And so if anybody wants to join us, just get in touch with anyone for the Alumni Association, and they'll steer you in the right direction. And we'll gladly accept your support and whatever. And every year, we always have, it's kind of hard to pick out people that have moved away and know what their accomplishments are. So the ones that are out of town or whatever, if you know of anybody that's done something that we should know about, let us know, because it would make our job a lot easier. You want to get up and talk, Jenny? So I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I hope you had a good time. If you had a good time, tell your fellow classmates. If you didn't, tell me. Thank you.
Well, we're going to make it in 9 minutes. We're to the closing section. It's the singing of God Bless America. We got Chazy's own Elvis Presley, Swivel Hips Nick West up here. He'll lead us all in it. Nick?
Go, darn right. 28 minutes. He said he was doing it. Chazy is great for tradition, and one of the traditions that have come about with the Alumni Association is to thank our good Lord for the opportunity to get together and have this program. So we'll all stand and sing God Bless America. Thank our accompanist, George and Papa. Together. God bless America. Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her to the light and the light from above. From mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, where it flows. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet
I need to skip over one thing, if you'll excuse me. That the Alumni Scholarship Award last night went to Jennifer Parrott, and that should be recognized and recorded here. Jenny's mother is Linda Manor Parrott, class of 1972. I'm sorry, Jenny. That's it, folks.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Calvin Castine. We're at Seton Catholic for a little Seton Catholic Summer League action. It's a rainy night outside, so we thought we'd come inside and tape a few of the local teams in basketball action. We just finished an exciting Northeastern game, and now we're watching the Northern Adirondack Bobcats in the shirts, and their opponents, the Plattsburgh High Hornets. Things are going helter-skelter out there. Steve Chilton and Mal Coutier are supposed to be blowing the whistles. This is Matthews over to Chilton. Tommy Matthews, Steve Chilton, David Bushy, Rob Dupree, and who else out there on Kelly Gilmore for the Bobcats. Tim Copeland pulling the strings. The other players are David LeBaire, Jimmy Dutilio, Mike Matthews, and Kenny Thayer. David Bushy at the line. And this is the first. Ball's loose, controlled by the Hornets. Off the back of Dupree's head. Jump ball. Play the whistle, guys. In and out. First point is on the scoreboard for Plattsburgh. They'll lead at 1-0. 17:27 to go. Running time. Stop the clock in the last 2 minutes. Gilmore with the rebound. Over to Chilton. Chilton back to Gilmore. Underneath for Bushy. Gilmore to Bushy. Bushy shot is blocked. Skins ball. Gilmore rebounds, gives it to Chilton. Bushy, back to Chilton. To Gilmore.